What's up, guys? Today we have a couple of things. I actually have already recorded this news post, but Jagex just posted another one about Combat Beta Update number 4. So, all the news today. We're going to go through both of these real quick. I'll summarize this one. I did like a more in-depth version of it, but there's no point now. I want to like spend 20 minutes on this and 20 minutes on this. We'll mix them together. But interesting, we've actually got some updates coming out, and it's not even a Monday. Look at that. So Mod Stew's quest requirement cleanup. We'll start with this one. This says, greetings fellow players, Mod Stew here, and he's announcing that basically what he's doing is trimming down quest requirements and making things a lot more relevant and like less of a mess. Like, look at this big mess here. So what this is here is a tree of all the quests and the requirements. Like starting at the top here, you can see they follow them down, then you have to do all the requirements towards it, and it's a big, massive mess. So basically, what he's saying here is that I'd like to talk about the concept in more detail, as quest requirements be quite Marmite. Personally, I love them. Quest requirements give structure to your gameplay and goals to work towards. But Stew, one might hypothetically cry, removing requirements just makes the game easier. Recent quests barely have any requirements as it is, and you should have more quests, not less. But basically what he's saying is that a lot of quests have requirements that just serve no purpose for it. Like, there's just no reason for it to be there, except for the fact that when they released it, they wanted quests to have relevancy. So they just sort of added it to that other quest line. For example, it says here, several requirements were added at the time to drive engagement to other quests, such as developers' body of work thus far, or to make completing the quest a more legendary feat. For example, shouldn't Legends quest require almost every other quest that came before? Makes sense, right? But they're saying that obviously they didn't take into account that we're still building quests into 2024, and some of the quests are still relevant. So, for example, what's happened is they've untangled all the stuff and trimmed it down, and they wanted to sort of make it so that there's a fine line between having reasonable, manageable goals and feeling so overwhelmed by objectives that it just doesn't feel worth the effort. They want to find that nice sweet spot, and so that's what this is. And this is actually going to be coming to us, if I have gone past it already. I believe they've already told us. Does it not say? It is coming to us, I think, yeah, there you go, 19th of February. So we are going to be getting this soon. So this is definitely going to be a good thing for the game. But for an example, they said buried treasure. Take the desert treasure quest as an example. This is a quest that most players will want to complete. Desert treasure quest requirements include all of this stuff here, but we'll skip down because this here is basically here. But you can see the requirements. There's a big long list here, and then there's the new ones in the green box, and you can see it's been trimmed down by quite a bit. There's some quests removed. But if you look at this list here, you'll see why. It says that the dig site is needed for the exam center, so we still have this. And then it says the tourist trap is the only connection is both quests feature this camp here, the Bedabin camp. And then the Temple of Ikov, the only connection is Asgarnia Smith claims to have uncovered this temple. So the Temple of Ikov has also been removed. The Priest in Peril was originally needed to enter Mauritania via the Paterodomus, the mausoleum, but Everlight and Agility shortcut over the river have since added other ways to access Mauritania. So you don't need to do Priest in Peril anymore because you can actually get into Mauritania another way. And now it says ability to enter Mauritania. So that's good. And then they've removed some other stuff like Waterfall Quest because there's a scene of that area, and there's a Troll Stronghold needed for the Ice Down installation. So that's still there. So they've like taken away the unnecessary ones because it's just no point. But this is good because it looks better for newer players. One, it looks like Jagex is cleaning up the game and paying attention to stuff years long, which is obviously a good thing. But two, when a player opens this quest and like, okay, we need to do Desert Treasure, or we need to do that city, the Temple of Santistum, this is a requirement too. Then they click this and they see all this list and like, oh, it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. But then they open this and look at the requirements here. That's not too bad, and they can grind towards it. It looks a lot better and feels better as well. Now it says that they're making the other quest it looks like they're making the other quest less relevant, but they're actually not, because, for example, they say here the Temple of Ikov is an important foundational quest in the Majorat quest series. These things that have been removed, they're still relevant in other places of the game, and they're not just removing it all together. The Waterfall quest is no longer required by Desert Treasure, but the Waterfall quest remains an important foundation to the Elf and Gnome storylines via the Roving Elves and the Path of Gloffrey. So these quests are still relevant in a lot of places, which is obviously good. So they've done a good job with that. They've managed it really well. But wait, there's more. So in addition to the changes, they've also done some like cleaning up of NPCs and some other things as well. So for example, the memory of the Mercury no longer has a 10-day time gate to build all the stuff. So this would have had like a 10-day limit, right? It won't have that anymore, which is obviously a good thing. There's no, like, it's so much better this way. Quest NPCs, for example, archaeology collectors, all of these listed here, rather than asking if you'd like to talk about archaeology, they'll just have a dialogue to have the collection straight away. So there's a few little cleanups as well. Now, I'm not going to go through all the changes to every single quest skill requirement, point requirement, and all this sort of stuff, because it'll just take forever and there's not really much point. I've got the other thing to look at as well. So I'll link this post in the description if you want to come through and have a look at all of these. You can do so, or you can just pause the video, I guess. I'll scroll through this bit here until the end. But you can pause the video anytime and have a look and read through them if you want. So happy questing. This is good. This can only be good for the game, and it's nice to see. It looks like a lot of this year, like the updates, is going to be cleaning up the game, tidying it up, trimming down all the excess stuff, making the combat better, or beta even. We'll get to that in a second. But they're just cleaning up the game and stuff, which, if that's the goal, it's fine. Like, it makes sense. It needs doing. This is good. I like it. Next, combat beta update number 4. I've not looked at this yet. I just figured, you know what, we'd recover the other one real quick, because that was like a 10-minute video before. Now it's like 5 minutes. So let's take a look. We don't need to go through the how to access the beta. We've done all that. To revert back to live from beta, you have to close. Okay, so yeah, so if you guys were stuck on the beta, you can pause this and you can follow that to get through it. How do you give feedback? Again, you got the comment beta channel in Discord, or on the subreddit as well. So there you go. Okay, so what is changing? What is since last beta? We're generally pretty happy with how systems changes are forming, and feedback has reinforced it. It's good. However, a large amount of play feedback is from our most devoted combat players with concerns that the beta is introducing too much power. We're using this beta iteration to tone down the amount of power being introduced, pulling multiple levers at once to better manage the distribution of damage and more closely line up with the live game. So I think this is basically saying that, like, the Ball of the Last Guardian, for example, was outperforming like everything, and people were already saying Necro was too strong, right? So if you're outperforming it again, so they need to sort of balance that so that when it comes to the live game, everything doesn't just get blown up. So damage potential, let's have a look. So they're changing, reduce the hit chance required to hit MC from 25% to 1%. So as long as you have a 1% hit chance now, you will always hit. You'll do way less damage, but you will always hit. This means that you can probably use Smoke Cloud without a wand, that sort of stuff, right? You'll be able to apply these off-style buffs without having to actually worry. You can use SGB. If you use an SGB spec, they reworked Ruby Bolts, didn't they? So it won't actually matter. Never mind, it's fine. Strike damage has changed as well, and it says that Critical Strike was overperforming combined with the hit cap changes. It meant the players were doing too much damage compared to the live game. We're bringing the Critical Strike damage formula down to better match the live game and bring power down across the board. I still think that, apart from ranged, I mean, melee was still up there as well. Wasn't it still less than Necro? I don't know. Interesting all the same. And I wonder if these I think the crit changes are only going to apply to the 3 combat styles and not Necro as well. So we'll have to see about that. But it says they've lowered the damage from level 90, so it's the top end, from 60% to 35%, which is a pretty decent amount, from 75% to 50%. Again, it's a good amount. Increase the damage of guaranteed critical strike abilities such as shadow tendrils and smoke tendrils as they were affected by these changes. So they've basically probably made those the same as they were in the first place. Critical strike adrenaline buff. With the new base critical strike chance and hit cap increase, the additional adrenaline gained from critical strike effects such as Tsunami allowed our top end players to deal an unintended level of burst damage. We've reduced the adrenaline gain from these abilities to ensure that it doesn't happen consistently, whilst allowing you to pop off during critical moments. So they've reduced the adrenaline gain from the critical strike buff from Meteor Strike, Extended Shot, and Tsunami from 10% to 6%. That's going to affect Magic a ton, because obviously the Tsunami was a big deal. But I can see here it says Fractured Staff of Armadillo. Let's have a look. So, Staff of Armadillo was noticeably lacking in our last test worlds after the reduction of critical strike damage and critical strike adrenaline. Yes, absolutely. We're giving it a passive in the beta to see if this helps remove some of the lost damage and reduce the damage fall off when out of Sunshine. Okay, so let's see. New passive. Shattered Siphon. Now generates echoes of time when critically striking. At 5 stacks, launch a time strike, value matching the special attack, disabled while instability is active. So basically, you're going to build stacks like the Ball of the Last Guardian, and when you reach 5 stacks, you're going to use one of the special attack hits. I like this. I like this a lot. And obviously this doesn't work while the actual the spec is working, but this is big, man. So every time you crit, you'll have to have the staff on for this. So maybe 4 ticking is now even less relevant, or would you? Yeah, maybe it is. I'll have to test this. I'll definitely jump on the beta, try this out. We'll try it on stream maybe and make a little video talking about it. But this is very interesting. I like this a lot, and I'm very curious to see how this fits in with the actual game. If it does stop 4 ticking, but it means the staff is completely, it's gonna be completely different to use, right? And what if you lose those stacks when you switch weapon or not? I don't know. We'll have to see. Either way, very cool. Greater Fury, having guaranteed crit, was comboing too well with the critical strike adrenaline buffs and critical strike damage, meaning melee, when played correctly, was performing too well. They're moving away from guaranteed crit all the time, but still ensuring Greater Fury is better than live game. So they've increased the base damage to correctly act as a greater variant of Fury, so the damage has gone up, and they've replaced the guaranteed crit to 25% of your next melee attack. Okay, cool. A 1% chance for your next melee attack to critically strike if Greater Fury. So if Greater Fury crits, then you will have that 100% chance still, but it's 25% otherwise. Cool. Ruby Bolts didn't quite hit the mark with our last beta update, so we've given them some additional power in line with their original identity. Okay, so increase the damage scaling. Now scales between an additional 25% and 100% of ability damage based on your target's current life points. Maybe you can still use this with an SGB off style then with no thing. As long like it's going to hit if you get the bolt proc, then it still works. If it doesn't, it's a bit trash, but I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. I guess you could still use Ingenuity of the Humans as well, to be fair. Anticipation. While we like the changes we made, does Ingenuity of the Humans do anything? Or did they change that? Actually, they might have changed it. I don't know. While we like the changes made to Anticipation, it's clear that players were using it in previous form too much to justify changing it off global cooldown right now. So they've reverted it back to how it was. Magma Tempest is the average damage is increased. So there you go. We're wary of adding too much power here, as a large portion of players that were using normal Magma Cast are essentially getting free damage of this change. So more combat-heavy players who were threading an auto attack in Magma Tempest were noticing a big loss of damage after its removal. Spreading a bit more damage back to Magma to help recover from that. Okay, so you used to be able to like use Magma and then use an auto attack as well because it didn't take that cooldown. But it does now, so they're increasing the damage a little bit more just to bring that back up a little bit, which is good. Magic getting some buffs, everything else getting some nerfs, Magic getting some buffs, it seems. I mean, I'm pretty happy with it. Special attack damage, changes to hit cap, critical strike damage, and the increased critical strike chance given meant that our topmost players were destroying bosses too fast for us to be comfortable with. We're pulling down some of the numbers to make up the power introduced by the beta. So reduce the damage of a number of special attacks. So these special attacks have all had the damage decreased. So the Dart Bow, the Bow of Last Guardian, the Dragon Claws, the Bow of Last Guardian again. So one's the passive and one's the spec, is that right? One's the spec, one's the passive, I think. The Bow of Last Guardian's been nerfed a fair amount, but there you go. So it's all balanced stuff, and of course this could still change. Saren Gobbo. The Saren Gobbo is a headache. It's a complex weapon. Whoever wrote this, good stuff. Critical strikes in the new system added more damage variation to the ability. So reducing the variation at its core, this will mean it's easier to understand and will do decent damage more consistently, but it keeps its niche of being better at big bosses. Like it. So the average damage is 140% per shot. Initial shot always targets the center of the NPC, and subsequent shot target tiles within 5x5 area around the center. This means that 5x5 enemies will always be hit 5 times. Good. More consistent. Sounds good. Bow of the Last Guardian. Let's see. Perfect Equilibrium buff no longer turns red when it's primed. We've got loads of feedback regarding the Bow of the Last Guardian's tooltip, so we've cleaned up some and read some changes we previously made to reduce visual noise. So Perfect Equilibrium buff is now hidden when leaving combat. That's probably a good thing. And Balance by Force buff now uses the same priorities as Perfect Equilibrium. They appear next to each other on the buff bar. Okay, cool. So they're just basically changing the buffs and how you can see with this. So it looks a lot better and easy to follow probably. PvP damage effectiveness, I don't think it matters. They've basically made it so Necromancy doesn't insta-kill you. I like this. I like that they're looking at PvP damage, but no one does it, right? They should balance PvP, and maybe because they've done this, they will balance it at some point. Maybe that might be a little bit of like, you know, but maybe we'll see what happens. Hopefully they do that. I'd like to PvP in RuneScape, to be honest. It could be fun. If there's a reason to do it that was just purely fun, no lost items or anything like that, just fun and maybe some like cosmetic rewards afterwards, I'd do it. It'd be pretty cool. Melee hit timings. Tuska's Wrath hit splat is 1 cycle faster. Quake hit splat is 1 cycle faster. Okay, so it's just something that hits splats, right? Yeah, okay. Vine Whip, remove the poison base, reinstated the area effect special attack. Leng Swords changes. The Lengs were intended to add some variation to melee that players could play around, but the proc chance was too consistent and damage benefits were too low. Alongside this, the adrenaline benefits combined with more recent rewards such as investment of Havoc meant that melee players were getting too much adrenaline for free. Okay, so they have 5% chance applied to the stack, 7% both no longer generate adrenaline when gaining a stack. Okay, 35 now has access to the Icy Tempest special attack. The offhand is slightly less, I think, 1%, 3%, and then the damage is 12% increased to 24%. And then special attack, main hit average damage is going up as well, and the area of effect hits, so the damage is going up, but you're not going to get as much adrenaline, basically, is how I think that sort of is working. Action bar text, reverted the font for the keybind text to match the live game, wrote the position of the ability cooldown. Cool, nice. Let's see what else is in here. So that's pretty much that done, but let's have a look. Changes, combat dummies, update max hit mode to guarantee critical strikes, reduce the maximum damage of Dominion Mines. Okay, so Dominion Mines were hitting 30k on like Seru and stuff. It was absolutely insane. They put it back to 10k. Makes sense. It should be as well. It was nuts, man. 60k damage just straight away was too much. Reinstated the Eldritch Crossbow's auto attack. Fixed an issue that could occur when using Bladed Dive while having Laceration Boots equipped. Fixed an issue where Split Soul icon would not correctly swap back to Soul Split. Fixed an issue where the Greater Ricochet was not correctly applying on her effects. Fixed an issue where channeled abilities were being incorrectly cancelled when moving. And the bleed damage of the Exec Kill. Yeah, that increased from 65 to 2.5% increase. And the investments of habit increased adrenaline no longer works with non-melee styles. Cool. So that's it done. Now I'm super excited about the Staff of Armadyl, if I'm being honest. Like, that's freaking super interesting. They've not only have they buffed it slightly, they've added the passive to it too. So they're also changing combat overall for magic there. We'll have to see how it goes. I'm gonna check it out like pretty much straight away, and I'll make a video on it and talk about it. But other than that, let me know what you think in the comments of all these changes. Damage potential down, but then they've also brought some other changes into the game too. So it's looking good. The combat beta is looking good, in my opinion, and I'm looking forward to trying out the new changes. Anyway, let me know what you think, and I'll catch you on the next one. See you later, guys. Bye.